Hello, everyone. Hello, can you hear me? Is everyone all okay? Hello, and welcome to another day of our webinars. Just waiting for some more people to join. Just waiting for, we've had a couple of latecomers as usual. It's fine, we'll just wait for some more people to join before we start. We've got loads to go through today. We've taken on your advice as well. We're going to be talking about H1s, heading tags, and how to use them effectively on your website, and the best way to use them, and kind of what Google look for, and what your potential customers are looking for as well. So hi Jared, hi Sue, hello everyone. Leo, good idea. Anyone want a Google 5-star review swap? Brilliant, Nicholas, nice to hear. Hi Graham. Yeah, so we've got our regulars in today, which is good. Hi Frida. So yeah, as I've mentioned, you had two Google reviews about 10 days ago, and they haven't appeared. What do you mean by that, Phil? As your customers have submitted two Google reviews to you and they haven't appeared on the Google My Business yet? Is that what you're referring to? Hi Rebecca. Perfect, Helen. That's exactly what we're going to be talking about. We're going to talk about what a H1 is, what a H2 is, how to use them, and more importantly, what Google and your visitors are looking for. Again, we've got a really kind of juicy session kind of lined up for you. I'd also like to know what you guys would like to learn more about as well. Again, we've pretty much covered the basics of digital marketing. We've got social media to come up as well, but it's always good to know kind of what you guys are struggling with. Hence today why we're doing the H1s and so forth. But again, it'd be good to know what you guys really want to learn more about. Phil, yes, customers have left 2 reviews and they have not appeared in my reviews, but I know they have done them. Right, okay, so again, with Google, during this time, obviously, they normally what they do is they review everything. They like to review everything before they publish it live. I can double check. What I'll do actually is I'll speak to our contact at Google, and I'll just double check and see if that's affecting the process in any way in terms of less people are obviously working for Google. I know they do. I know they have put up a message saying that some reviews may take longer in terms of them reviewing any changes, whether that be address, posts, all that kind of stuff. But again, I can double check. It's probably because Google hasn't reviewed it yet or had the chance to review it yet. Do you just out of interest, do you have like a notification in the Google My Business dashboard saying that they've left a review? Or is it just the fact that you know they have done it and you haven't seen anything appear on your Google My Business? It'd be interesting to find that out, Phil. If Rebecca's asked a question, if my local presence is poor, how can you update all the necessary directories? There are a number of tools out there that you can use. InfoServe, obviously, we have a tool that does that. It's called Listing Manager. We've also got another one called Local Search. Again, there are multiple ways you can get all of your information updated across all of the directories, all of the Google recommended ones, which we went through in a previous webinar. They're very inexpensive. They're about like £20 a month, if that. Again, and that just makes sure that you can update all your information all at once across all the directories. A lot easier to do than logging into 50 different directories and doing it that way. Yeah, there are multiple ways to do it, Rebecca. If you'd like to have a conversation with us, we're more than happy to help you and show you the options, really. Jen said, edits, review, replies, and other Google My Business functionality may not operate as usual. Yes, exactly, Jen, exactly. Again, it's only because they don't have as many people working for them. They don't have the review process, especially with customer reviews. Unfortunately, people tend to leave quite negative, nasty remarks on Google reviews sometimes, and Google like to vet all of those before they do publish them live. It could be a really nice friendly review that your customers left, but it's just the fact that a person hasn't seen it to say, yes, that's acceptable. Again, this is Google's brand image that they like to protect. If they were to publish anything with swear words or anything, it just looks bad on Google as well. So please do bear that in mind. So yeah, we've got quite a lot of people in here today, 48 people. So I think we will carry on. So let's have a look. Can you all see the presentation okay? Can you all see that? Let's have a look. So, oh, that's the wrong one. Sorry about that. Bear with me. So yeah, we're going to be talking about header tags. So I do have my presentation. Let me just get it up. So I'm going to share my screen. Bear with me. I don't have Matt yet today with me. I believe he's got troubles joining. It's his internet connection. Let me just share my screen. So sorry guys, bear with me. So you should see a nice colourful screen there. I'm just going to pull up my presentation into there. So heading tags, how to use them effectively. So we have got, let me see that can, ooh. This is going very well so far. So sorry about that, guys. Let me grab that up. So yes, so where's this key now? There we go. So unfortunately, I can't put it any bigger. It seems to do away with my screens. But yeah, heading tags, how to use them effectively and what they are. So your heading tags are effectively they're used to structure your content on your web page. Now, bear that in mind when writing your header tags and describing what's on the page. That is fundamentally what these what headings and heading tags are. Is they are used to structure the content on the page. They help people and Google understand what is on that page. So they are very, very important. Now, heading tags can range from H1 all the way to H6. Don't worry too much about anything below H1, really. The most important one is your H1 tag. That is the most important one that Google look for. So again, this is basic kind of SEO, and if you have it in your mind that this is used to structure the content, then you're on for a winner. That way you can clearly describe exactly what's on that page, if that makes sense so far. So your H1, always have a unique H1 on each page. Now, what I mean by that is every single page is obviously unique, and you're trying to either promote your service, promote a product, or anything that you can do with your business. If it's a blog, it will describe that blog. So make sure on every page that you have a unique H1. What I mean by that, so if I'm an emergency plumber, for instance, my unique heading on that emergency plumber page would be emergency plumbers in Leeds, for example. Make sure that H1 isn't then kind of replicated anywhere else. Try and make them unique. That's what really works well. I'm not saying don't then have emergency plumbers Leeds anywhere else on your website, because obviously they're the keywords that you want to get found for. Word them differently. Google and visitors as well like it when you kind of word things differently on each page. So you can have emergency plumbing Leeds or Leeds emergency plumbers, any kind of variation along that. Make sure that they are unique on each page. So you've got your boiler service, for instance. You could have boiler installations, and then you can have obviously your call out. You can have emergency call out, and so on and so forth. Oh, hello, Matt. How are we doing? Oh, we can't hear you yet. Try log out and log back in again, or no, still can't hear you, unfortunately, Matt. Matt will fix that. He'll come back in. Yeah, see you soon, Matt. But yeah, so as I was kind of going through, these are used to identify on what's on each page. I've got an example here. We've seen this website over and over again through these webinars. So in this case, these are boutique wedding venues in North Yorkshire. That's a unique H1. That first tag that you can see there, that is your H1. So it describes exactly what's on that page and what content people are going to be reading.
Hi Josh, can you hear me now?
I can indeed. How are we doing?
Good, thanks. Sorry about that, guys. Thanks, Josh, for kicking us off there. I don't know if I can't see your screen at the moment, Josh. I think it's gone back to the presentation. I'll just stop that. But thanks. Sorry about that, guys. A little bit of a technical issue at the beginning there, but Josh has his bits at the start anyway. So Josh, I won't stop you. What I'll do though is I'll share my screen because I think mine is working now. So it seems to be all good. So we can go through. Let me know if you can see this okay.
There we go. Yeah, perfect.
Okay. So do you want me to go to the next one?
So if you go to the H1, please.
Yep.
There we go. Brilliant. So as I was mentioning, these are. Oh, thank you very much, Attilia. She just said no problem, Matt. Josh was doing very well. Thank you very much. So as I was saying, these are your H1 tags are the most important. That's what Google look for. It is the most important heading tag you can have on a page. Just to kind of round up what we've been through so far, it will describe what content is on that page. Again, if you've got boiler installations, it needs to have boiler installations in the heading tag. A little tip to kind of get the best H1 you could possibly get. Read what's on your page. Find out what your page is trying to say. Again, if it's boiler installations, then have that keyword certainly in there. I would then do a bit of keyword research. Now, me and Matt and Dan have shown you how to use some people saying that we've got a blank screen. Do you want to just try doing the...
Oops. That's strange.
If you turn screen share on.
Yeah, let's try that again. Wow, there we go. Should be. Can you see that, Josh?
I can see it. Yeah, I can see it fine. Can you guys see the screen yet?
No. Josh?
Yep. Hello. Is it all okay now? Yes, we're getting loads of okays. Brilliant. Sorry about this, guys. We're having lots of technical issues. It's mainly the connection. We've been having real problems before we went live with some connections.
It'll always happen, won't it? Once or twice.
It will, yeah. This is the second time it's happened to us now.
Yeah, it's all good. But the content still, like you say, you were mentioning how you've got one H1 on each page, and that is the thing that really identifies what's on page. That is really important, isn't it? The H1 tag, because we mentioned about landing pages as well, and pages that you set up for ad campaigns or Facebook or Google campaigns. Well, it's really important to use the H1 to make it very, very clear, what is this page talking about? Or what is the page? Is it a service? Is it a product that you're talking about on this page? Obviously, the example we've got here is a picture of a home page, but it might be that you've landed on the wedding venues page. Or if you're a plumber, it might be that you've landed on the boiler installation page. And so your H1 would be boiler installation, I don't know, Leeds or Manchester, or it could just be boiler installation. But it's got to be really clear as to what page you're on.
Always make sure that there is only one H1 as well. A lot of people, especially when it comes to design, it's easy to kind of go into your web editor, whatever that may be, whether it be WordPress, whether it be Wix, Squarespace, you know, there's loads of web editors out there. Make sure especially if someone has designed your website, make sure you're not just kind of copying and then pasting, because it will then also paste the H1 tag as well. Now, if you have 2 H1 tags on your page, all you're doing is confusing search engines like Google and Bing on what's actually on that page. There only needs to be one, because that is the most important. It's hierarchical.
Hierarchy is what you're trying
hierarchy,
to say.
yes, that's the word I'm trying. That's the way it's kind of used. H1 is the most important, and you should only have one. And then it goes H2, H3, H4. We do have a graphic. We will show you that. But I'm just stressing the point that there should only be one.
Use keyword research. Absolutely use keyword research. What is the most common way that people are searching for your services? How are people actually searching? I was talking to a lovely chap this morning, Ross. Hi, Ross, if you're watching. And one of the things I realised that he's a computer repair specialist. That wasn't actually the main keyword. It was something like repair computer near me, and there's various, you know, what you want to do is go to the keyword planner or use some of these tools and find out what is it that people are searching for when it comes to your business, and you know what are those keywords that people are searching. So if you don't mind, I'll just zoom in a bit. Can you see that okay?
Yeah, I can see that. So just to kind of answer some questions, some people have asked, Rebecca, for instance, my website promotes our 3 main activities, gifts, printing, and publishing. You've separate pages for each activity with a H1 relevant to each and matching URL. Perfect. But what should I do for the main homepage? Now, again, we can't stress enough, keyword research is the secret to all of this. What is your main service? What is the main service that you offer? And what is the main thing people will be typing in to find your service? For instance, again, we keep kind of, so like gifts, printing, and publishing. Find out, literally put those keywords into Google, find out what phrases people are using to find those. A generic term for your business that will drive lots of traffic. Again, for instance, with the example just before, boutique wedding venues, North Yorkshire, that's exactly what they're wanting to get found for. That's their most, it's their most profitable service, and it's exactly that kind of phrase that they want to get found for. They are the boutique kind of wedding venues. They're not just a generic kind of wedding venue. Again, that's probably the best advice. What would you say around that, Matt?
Yeah, completely concur with that. And it's really just a case of picking your top keywords. So, you know, with these tools, you can find out what's getting searched, the search volume, the last 30 days search volume. For me, if I was, let's say, let's pick a different industry. So say, for example, it's a dentist. You're a dentist. You've got a whole range of services, from teeth whitening to the fact that you're a dental clinic to, I don't know, there's loads and loads of different services. What is the H1 going to be on the homepage? It's a really good question. We're redesigning our own website at the moment. And in actual fact, on our homepage H1, we haven't used, we may not end up using our main keyword. And it's the reason for that is because we're obviously a brand, a national brand. And we can kind of get away with not using our keyword as much because we're not really looking to get found locally or SEO or anything like that. So we might actually go for something really catchy. And it kind of, this contradicts everything we're talking about. But I do want to say that for those bigger brands out there, national companies, you might not want to go with the whole, you know, digital marketing company or dentist or plumber. You know, it might be more, I don't know, something catchy like the best you've ever seen or something, you know, something marketing like that. Yeah. But if you're going to go with a keyword in your H1 on the homepage, make sure it's just the most kind of generic, bold keyword is what I call, you know, the most top level keyword. So, for example, a dentist, it would be dentist. I wouldn't go for teeth whitening Birmingham on my homepage, unless I am specifically a teeth whitening company. It would be Dentist Birmingham. And the reason for that is because that is obviously the singular keyword is the one that most people are searching for. So if you're a letting agent, you do flats to rent, apartments, blocks of flats, houses. Letting agent is probably the one you want to go for. Just keep it really generic and kind of top level. And then on the other pages, you're talking about the specific things that you do. So flats to rent, flats to let. On those pages, you've got flats to let, those are the H1s on those pages. But like I say, for the homepage, keep it kind of top level.
Especially. I think it's a very good example with like the InfoServe website, for example. Our individual landing pages that we use with we're exclusive kind of Yahoo local partners. That Yahoo local page on its own drives, I'd say, probably about 70% of our website traffic, and that's just a landing page. And this is the key, and this is what we're going to talk into. Don't worry too much. I mean, Attilia, you've got a brilliant question there. What if I want to get found for first aid? Then I'd end up using 2 pages with the same H1. i.e. homepage and main first aid page. Is that all right to do? So again, yes, of course, there are other ways you can word this. There's first aid training, there's first aid courses. Again, those are unique H1s. That's what we're kind of saying. Obviously, you have to mention first aid in your entire website because you are a first aid trainer. We're not saying don't ever mention it on any other page, but that's exactly what landing pages and location pages are for, especially if you offer different services in those kind of areas. You can have first aid training Harrogate, and then you can have first aid training North Yorkshire, for instance. Whatever kind of keywords people are searching for the most. And again, we keep going back to it because it really does work. Have a look and see what people are actually searching.
Absolutely, yeah. And everybody needs to review their heading tags. Please do review those heading tags. And we did some digital marketing checks at the weekend on our Saturday one, and heading tags are really, they can be found in sort of our SEO check, which we can do for you. If you want a free check, we can do that for you. But it'll say on this SEO check here, it'll actually tell you if you've got headings and you've got H1s, H2s, H3s. And so I want you to check through at least your homepage, and then obviously you can have a look at more. But let's just go down a little bit. Let's just have a look. So for this particular one, they've started with a H2. You can actually do that. You can start with you can have your H2 above your H1. There are ways that you can actually swap these around. But the H1 here is using their main keyword. I don't know if it's blurry or not, but it says, the main keyword. But effectively, what I want everyone to do is check that you're using H1, H2, H3, and H4s on the website, if that's okay. So I'll just come off that. Is that okay, Josh?
Yeah, definitely. So again, this kind of this is a little graphic around how you should use H1s and H2s. And so on and so forth. As you can see, I picked this graphic because it kind of it's a really kind of good way of visually showing you how to structure your content. So again, only one H1 per page. Try make it unique to that page and the content that's on that page. And then you've got your subheadings. So as you notice, in this particular page, they're using 2 H2s. That's perfectly fine because they are your subheadings, and then obviously your H3 is your subheading. Just try and keep it organized. You don't have to use H2s to H6s. They are purely optional. The most important and the one which you should always nail on the head is your H1. So I've seen a couple of questions come in around kind of H1. So Attilia, does that mean that I have loads of duplicate pages, especially considering I run 57 different courses? Again, if you've got 57 different courses and you've got loads of locations that you're wanting to target, every H1 will be unique because then you'll have your unique course name and then the unique location. If you have, for instance, first aid training Harrogate and then first aid training Harrogate, then yes, obviously that's a duplicate. But especially if you're doing different locations, they're naturally going to be different anyway. They're going to be unique. some people have asked, should we put the business name in the H1? Now, before I answer, what's your kind of thoughts on this, Matt, in terms of the business name in the H1?
Yeah, absolutely fine. It just it depends on if that's in the logo as well, or if it's at the top of the website. Then there's no real need to repeat it. It's really a heading tag is more to describe what's on page.
Exactly.
So just going back to that basic rule of it's there to describe what it is that you're about to read or about to see on that page.
Yeah.
And that's why Google love them so much, and that's why Google put so much weight to heading tags, is because it literally just tells the visitor what it is that's on the page. Now, do you want to put your business name in there? You could have it in there, but maybe you could have your keywords in there as well.
Yeah, exactly.
So it could be InfoServe digital marketing specialists, for example, that kind of thing. So don't just put your business name, maybe use the keywords alongside that. A lot of businesses have their keyword in their business name, which is really useful. So, solicitors and things like that. So try to mix it up. That's really it for me on that one.
Exactly. So again, keep it relevant. Keep it relevant to what's on the page. The ideal situation with any kind of search is, let's say I'm after buying some blue jeans, for instance. I'm going to type in blue jeans into Google. I then need to see on the search engine results page, I need to then see blue jeans. If I don't see blue jeans, I probably won't click on it, because I've typed in blue jeans. I want blue jeans. I then have a look on the search engine results page. Again, there are all your title tags, which we went through earlier. Make sure blue jeans are in that page. And then when I click on that page, I need to then confirm to myself that I am on the right page. I need to see blue jeans as soon as possible, and then I know I'm on the right page. So I like to call it the three-pronged attack, but that's just something that I think. So again, red boots, exactly. So you've searched for red boots. There we go.
Yep.
See in the title tag there, red boots on Amazon, and then even on Debenhams as well further down. And again, you click on there, and then it should say red boots straight away as soon as we land on that page. There we go, red boots for women. Perfect. I've hit all three avenues, and I'm now, as a visitor, I'm more likely to stay on this page, and I'm more likely to do some shopping because I've confirmed that I'm on the right page. I know this sounds really basic and really simple, but sometimes that's all it takes. Again, don't overcomplicate this.
What I'll do is not Prada shoes. Let me have show an example to everyone. Let's do a local city. So boiler installation needs, and this applies to everyone. So let's have a look let's have a look at a landing page effectively. Now, I've searched for boiler installation. Actually, let's go boiler repair. Let's go boiler repair, because that's often a popular one at around Christmas time. So boiler repair leads, and the ad, let's just look at an ad really quickly. It says Horsforth Boiler Repair. So that's it's a local company, and they've got boiler repair in the ad. That's great. I am going to click on the ad. I wouldn't normally do this. I would never do that normally, but it's hopefully not going to cost too much. But this is a great example of it being done right. And this is a plumbing company. So if I just go to their homepage, the homepage is same day plumbers and engineers. So, it's a very generic, it's got the keyword plumbers in the homepage heading, and that's the H1. Now, on that landing page, though, remember, it says Horsforth Boiler Repairs. It's got the specific keyword on that in the H1 on the landing page, and so that's exactly what Josh is referring to. Yes. And we can see this in many different places. So if I search for, let's say, a DVD, does anyone buy DVDs anymore? But let's have a look. So I've searched for the new Star Wars film, and I can see a result here on Amazon. What's going to happen when I click on that? This is a very relevant and very good user experience. Well, there we go. I'm taken straight through, and that will be, for example, the H1, and that's the product. It's a good user experience, and that's effectively how a good website's built. You've got the H1 describes what's on page and your title tag, etc. But it has to be a very good experience for the user.
Yes.
And
this works both ways as well. So obviously Matt showed an example of an ad there, but this works exactly the same as if it was to be organic. Yeah. Again, that is what Google are looking out for when they're looking at the structure of your page. Bearing in mind they don't have a person looking through it, so they can't see if you've put something in bold. They can't see that type of stuff. The only thing they can see is these kind of header tags, because they've got little robots. They call them Google bots, kind of crawling the web, and constantly looking for changes on websites. And that's what these little bots are looking for, are those tags. That's why they call it a tag, because you tag that it is the main header.
I was just going to say, Josh, this actually is a very good example of the perfect landing page. It's almost a perfect landing page. It's got a clear headline.
Yeah.
Unique selling points. Unique selling points right here, very clear, and then it's got obviously all the accreditations and testimonials. So the first thing I'm seeing is I'm really trusting this business. There's social proof, is what it can be called. And so yeah, this is a great example of how it should be done. Really simple, really clear, and then there's a little bit more about the business or the service just below that. Now, what I would say is that there is quite a lot going on here for a landing page. I don't know if they've specifically set this page up for the ad campaign, because I am taking off to other services here. For example, if I'm looking for boiler repair, I certainly don't need shower services. But it's at least showing, the user what they do. But you could even keep it more simple than that. And this could be the bottom of the page. This bit here is the end of the page. And you've got the reviews. And you've got the simple call to action. And a really, it is very clear. Book online, book now, or there's a phone number here. The only other way to improve this is maybe to have a contact form or even more of a clearer button, a book online button. So if I do click that button, it takes me through to another page. Maybe if I was wanting to increase conversions on this, I'd probably have it so that I could make a booking on the page rather than be taken to another page. So you'd have a contact form on this page. Hopefully that kind of helps to understand how the perfect landing page should be.
Yeah, so exactly. I mean, we have had a couple of questions come in. So does it matter if you hide the H1 due to website theme issues? Now, I'd never recommend hiding the H1, because as we've mentioned, you should only have one H1 on your page. If it's hidden and people can't see it, they're not going to know necessarily kind of what the page is about. Again, it's really, really important to nail on the head the whole relevant side and exactly what they're searching for. Do a bit of research. Try get in your customer's mind. What are they going to be searching into Google to find your product or service? And this is where you're going to start to see results, is when it is the most relevant it could potentially be. Jen, yes, you're absolutely right. They can read, Google can read bold tags, but the point I was trying to make there was that if you don't tag it as a H1 and they don't see a H1 there, then that's the point I'm basically trying to make, is make sure you tag it and you only have one and that it is unique.
Michelle, whereabouts? I'm not sure where. I can't recall where you're based, Michelle. You want to get found for Wedding Photography Northeast. Should you use that on the homepage, or what should you use on the homepage? Yes, you could use Wedding Photography Northeast, but it is. Is that too broad? You could use that on the homepage, but I'd probably create pages on your website for the areas that you cover. So
people searching for that as well. Yeah.
So,
Are people searching for that? Are people searching for that search term? Again, have a look and do some research and find out. Wedding photographer is probably the best one for in that case, because it's only 2 words people are going to type in. You're naturally going to get more searches, especially for like the homepage, for instance. As soon as you start getting down to either product specific or service specific, that's when you can really kind of have the long tail keywords. What that means is just there's more words in the actual search term. Matt did a fantastic example earlier of Luke Skywalker DVD. He even put the movie name in there because that product had that in, and it's a well optimized site. Obviously, Amazon is a very, very well optimized big site. It came up straight away, and that's why Matt was more inclined to click on that.
Gerard, yeah, I'd absolutely. Gerard asks, can he make more than one landing page for an area of for different services? Never, always. I was going to say never be afraid to add more content. Basically, well, I'll reword that. Always add as many pages as you can to your website, as long as it's a good user experience, as long as it's not too confusing for people and it's easy to navigate. So when I say easy to navigate, make sure your navigation bar is, the main navigation at the top of the website or wherever it is. Make sure that's not overloaded with pages. It's okay to have drop downs, so you can hover over the main page and it will drop down with other pages. That's okay, but don't put too many pages in your main navigation bar where it's just confusing as to where I'm meant to go. So drop downs are okay, Gerard. But one thing about content is the more content you've got on your website, the better it is for search engine optimization. So yes, it might be wise to add another page for a specific service that you offer in a specific area, a geographic area. So boiler installation, Wakefield, for example, or something, so it might be, it will be beneficial for you from an SEO standpoint. And someone's also just asked, going off on a side note here, but I think Jen asked what are doorway pages, doorway websites? Well, doorway websites are mini websites that go to your main website, and those we don't think those are good practice. So we'd recommend not using doorway websites. And you can't use them on a Google ad campaign anyway. So that says it all for me, is that Google suspend your account if you're using doorway websites. So basically, if you've got lots of mini websites that go to your main website, because you've maybe got plumbers Leeds as a miniature website, and then you've got plumbers Wakefield, and then plumbers Durham, and then you've got your main website, and all those doorway websites to your main one, that is not a good idea. Keep it simple, have one website, and make that website a really good experience for users and people visiting your website. That's what Google wants. They just want a very good website. You don't see Amazon or ASOS or, I don't know, Airbnb having loads of doorway websites or using lots of tricks. Those websites are just really good to use. And the better the website is to use and read, the longer people will stay on that website. And the longer people stay on your website, the higher it'll go on your rankings. Perfect. Time on site is a massive factor when it comes to search engine optimization. So maybe instead consider using video. Consider your content. Is it well designed? Is it a good idea to add content in blog posts in order to keep the main pages? And yes, Andrew, it is absolutely a good idea to use content in blog posts. Create a blog as a kind of value-added service. So whatever it is industry that you're in, your blog, you need to become the what's the word? The person with authority, I can't think of the word, but you need to be the go-to company for advice on your industry. So, for example, if I'm a builder, my blog would be how-to blogs. How do you cut wood in the right way? How do I install a shelf in my house? What a great time to give people this advice, because they're all trying to do home DIY. And I would give all of this advice for free. And it's similar to what we're doing. This is all value-added advice. But I'm sure, and I can see that the feedback's been brilliant. So that only would eventually potentially lead to business to us anyway. So it works both ways. And what you need to do is give that value, give that advice to people in your blog, and how they can do it themselves. And you need to be, I can't think of the phrase, but the go-to person when it comes to, I need to unblock my sink. Andrew in Plymouth, his website shows me how to do that. Or he's got a YouTube video that shows me how to do that. I'm going to have a go myself. Or, whatever it may be, make sure that blog is, used for all of your content, the extra content that might clutter up other pages. And so what I would do is from those pages, link to the blog article and use social media to link to your blog. Be the person with authority in your industry. Authority in industry. Jen, I just read that after I said it. Yes, Jen, you're right. The industry expert, Gillian, correct. But there is still a phrase. I can't think of the phrase. I think it's trust something, but I'll have a little research in a minute. Any other questions, Josh, that you've looked at?
Yeah, so we've had a good one from Nicholas. It was kind of more of a kind of statement. So Google searches for your H1 automatically. We don't need to submit our chosen H1 to Google. Now, Google will eventually find the changes that you've made to your sites. Is that the best way to go about it? You can leave it. They will eventually find it, but that's what Google Search Console is for. I'm not too sure if you guys are familiar with Google Search Console, especially with sitemaps. You can submit your changes to Google directly. That will make sure, one, that they know about it, and two, that you know that it's going to be processing. Eventually, they will find it. They are crawling the web constantly. They are looking for any kind of changes and any kind of updates. That's how they're so relevant. That's how they are and will be the best search engine in the world. But again, you can submit these changes to Google through Google Search Console. Make sure your analytics are linked up. Again, we haven't really touched much about Google Search Console. If you'd like us to, just pop it in the chat. I'll read it after. Again, it's something that we can go through, but that is the best way to kind of go about it. But just to confirm, they will eventually find it. Does that mean that you should let them do that? It's probably a good idea to kind of say, look, here's the changes that I've made. Please get me found.
So just on the blogging, it was thought leader, by the way. You want to be thought leaders in your industry. So it's the person you are the person that people go to when they think of when they need advice. So being thought leaders basically was the phrase I was looking for. Just on Google Search Console though, Josh, this is, I know we're talking about website conversion rate optimization today. We're talking about how you can get more conversions from your website.
Yeah.
Well, you need to analyze behavior as well. And
yes.
Google Analytics is the way to do that. But the Google Search Console is really quite helpful for understanding how many people are on your website. And so you may have seen something similar on Google Analytics, but this is actually just the Google Search Console, and it tells you what people are typing in. It tells you what people are actually searching for and how many clicks you've had for those different search terms. So it's really quite cool, and it breaks down, obviously same as Google Analytics, but it breaks down device. Oops, sorry, I'm trying to zoom in here, but it's not easy to do. But it tells me that we've had more traffic from mobile than we have on desktop. And so some of the data might be in there, some of the data might not be in there, but it is very handy. Now it'll tell you about any errors that you have as well. So the Google Search Console tells you about any problems that Google's seen on your website, and it'll even tell you about speed. You can even do site speed checks in here. Let me just have a look.
We'll go through a more kind of in-depth look at that. We'll show you exactly how to use it, how to submit your sitemap, all that kind of juicy stuff there as well. Again, with there's loads to go through. Atilia, you asked a good question. Do the location pages have to be visible via a menu to all customers, or could we have them but not put them in the main menu? Now, first of all, what kind of makes you think that you'd want to hide these location pages? Because a lot of these times when I'm looking for a business and I'm doing some search online and I come across a site, one, it's good to know how well established that business is, and two, it's also good to know where else you kind of serve and where else you can go and what else you do. Just because I'm typing in, I could be in Leeds, for instance, with my grandma, and I could be finding a lawn care specialist. I might type in lawn care specialist Leeds. I live in Harrogate. It would be beneficial for me to know that these guys can also service Harrogate as well. Again, there's multiple scenarios that you can think of as to why it's always good to show where you offer your service, and how far you're willing to travel and how established you are. If you're hiding these location pages and it's not easy to navigate around your site, that can be more detrimental than anything. It's in terms of SEO, it doesn't really kind of change too much as long as you've got those location pages. perfect example, Matt. You've got locations there, and I can easily see, without even clicking on a page, I can easily see that they serve all of these different locations. I could have family, I could have friends, I could have another house in this area. You know, it's always good to know where you do serve, without a doubt. I wouldn't recommend hiding them. I don't see the point in hiding them, really, unless you've got a really, really kind of valid reason as to why you'd want to hide them. Again, yeah. I wouldn't recommend that.
Yeah. So this is another website that we've designed, and he runs Google Ads, and this really does work very well, the whole location thing. And this is a bigger company. Now, let me. We could even have a check on one of the. So let me check 24-hour emergency glazers. So all we do is take that heading tag. This probably won't work, but so there he is. So on page 1 of Google, I've typed in 24-hour emergency glazers Wakefield, and that's the kind of keyword that he and we feel that it's the best quality inquiry for him, and he comes up twice because he's got multiple pages on his website optimized for that. And you can do the same for all these different areas. Let me check a completely different location just to show you the power of why it's important. You can't hide these pages. You should definitely have them on your website. And there he is. Halifax is not really that close to Wakefield. He's not in Halifax, but look how top of Google, page 1, and that's even above Yellow Pages. So this is there's ways and means and little tricks you can use to get found at the top of Google for all these different. Forget the fact it's caps. If it wasn't caps, cap lock, it doesn't matter. But there we go. Different location, Dewsbury, and he's page 1 again of Google. So in unbelievable benefit that this has, and obviously we've created these pages specifically for that reason.
So with your kind of specific company there, Atelier, obviously I can see where you're kind of going with that, because you do have a lot of courses and you do serve a lot of areas. Now, again, find out what people are searching for the most. I can see you've put there emergency first aid at work course in Chesterfield. Are many people going to be searching for that search term? Or are people going to be typing in first aid training Chesterfield? Do you see where I'm trying to go with that? Is if you have those, bearing in mind those landing pages and those location pages, someone might be typing in first aid training and not know that they need emergency first aid at work. You can have a link in that landing page to your emergency first aid. Definitely list all your services on that page when people do type in first aid training, first aid courses. Those are going to be the keywords that drive the most traffic, and that's what I'd recommend optimizing your page to.
I was just going to say, Josh.
Yeah.
That's all right. One of the other factors, I've had this on screen a while. I didn't want to leave it too long, but we all know how important design plays a part in this, in that most decisions are made not only on the relevancy, but the design of the page and the website as well. So that's really important to kind of highlight that as a factor. But we've also mentioned about how unique selling points need to be really clearly shown on the page, on the website and on the page itself. And we talked about how these can massively increase conversion rates by just having unique selling points on page. It can really improve conversion rates by such a big level. Now, we've looked at a couple of examples already, but here's another example of one we've previously shown where the unique selling points are just below what we call the hero image at the top of the page there. So just below the contact form, just below the image, you've got unique selling points. And again, on this example here, you've got 4 unique selling points. And we know from data and insights that just by adding this section onto your website, conversion rates increase hugely. So it's absolutely worth speaking to your web designer or getting a website that is built for this. And your website should be built for conversions. A good web designer has been trained using Google best practices or even Microsoft best practices. A good web designer can not only make a website look great, but they build the website specifically for conversions. So a good website designer knows how to turn visitors into paying customers or bookings or inquiries. And that is literally what we're showing you here. So these tricks and tips are quite wide, should be widely known within the design industry.
Yeah.
So do reach out to your designer, or do consider getting a website rebuilt. I'd recommend a new website every 3 years, just to make, because things change so often and design changes. Design and trends change so often. But not only that, not only the unique selling points, but you've got to have testimonials and accreditations. So we've obviously touched on this already, but you've got to have these things, because testimonials and accreditations really does add that kind of social proofing and reassurance to the visitor. And again, you'll be amazed at how high conversion rates go once you add these things onto your website. Josh, I wondered if you had anything you wanted to say about the kind of layout. Is there anything specifically that you want to add to this in terms of layout?
I mean, we have had a question on kind of videos and how-to videos. Sarah asked, how would you incorporate YouTube videos? I think this kind of can tie into layout as well. So with layout, as we can see on the screen, you need to have that H1 attention-grabbing headline of exactly what I've landed on. Is this the right page where I need to be? To kind of give you an example, this sounds a little bit ridiculous, but I'm really good friends with my neighbour, and we are having a little bit of a grass off. So we're trying to get the greenest grass we can get. Don't worry, Matt. Run with me with this one. But basically, we're trying to basically get the greenest grass. I know it sounds really ridiculous. Anyway, so I started to do a bit of research, and I typed in how to get rid of moss, how to get green grass. I came across this guy called the Lawnsmith. Now, he actually sells his own feed. He sells his own lawnmowers. He sells his own absolutely everything to do with grass. Now, I'm actually considering getting some lawn feed from this guy because of his how-to videos, because he's shown me how to get rid of moss. He's shown me how to do aeration and all that kind of boring stuff. I know I'm 24, but I'm actually quite a boring 24-year-old. But that kind of just enforces the point of how-to videos and the right layout. I would have abandoned his website if I typed in how to get rid of moss. If his H1 wasn't how to get rid of moss, I would have clicked straight off, because I need to find out exactly what I'm looking for. He had his accreditations on there. He had some reviews on there telling me about his lawn feed and about how good it was. And again, I am now considering purchasing some. I've never heard of this guy until the weekend, until I'd done this research. But that just shows you how important these landing pages and these location pages really can be. I'm a brand new potential customer to him. And yeah, that it just enforces the point. Definitely always try kind of have a video on there. It converts really well. It really does work, doesn't it, Matt?
Yeah, it really does. And you know, your blog, just keep it updated regularly. Admittedly, we've been a bit sloppy at times with updating our own blog, but we're obviously focusing more on that now more than ever. And we do the same. We're just giving small business owners advice as to what you can do, and we're becoming kind of the thought leaders when it comes to digital marketing for small businesses. Yeah. We want to be the best advisors for small businesses when it comes to digital marketing. So and we've been writing blogs as to you know how to do things and how you can cash in at Christmas and all this stuff, and that's specifically what we're talking about is just and video is crucial to that. So have a YouTube channel, get a YouTube channel for your business, and embed the YouTube video into your blog or your website, and it's really easy to create a blog with a YouTube video and then some content underneath that. Is that okay, Josh, in terms of what you think as well? Yeah. Yeah,
definitely. Especially with these kind of times, as we mentioned, it's making sure that you're there and you're helping people, especially to kind of get found organically. That's what works the best. Again, I would never have heard of the Lawnsmith if he hadn't wrote an article or a blog about how to get rid of moss. And I know that sounds really, really simple, but his main aim is to sell his feed and sell his services. And he's thought out the box and thought, what are people going to be searching for? Which how to get rid of moss. Perfect, especially for around this time. Gardens are very mossy apparently around this time, which I didn't know about.
Yeah.
I read his blog.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. And let me come back to that point in a second. Actually, that how-to, guys.
Yeah.
Let me just come back to that in a second. But what we'll do is I'm just putting this on the screen here. So if you are watching this back or you watch it back later, you can pause it and read this through whilst you're pausing it. It's basically a landing page checklist, and we put together the biggest points that every landing page, service page should have. And this is something your website designer must and surely has, because it's the way to convert visitors to inquiries. And so it's really simple things. Having a phone number really clear and really visible at the top, towards the top of the landing page. Because obviously, a lot of people go back to your website just to get the phone number. They just want to call you. You know, they do the search again, or they're doing the call, and they're in a situation where they need your services. Maybe it's in an emergency situation. Maybe they're on the mobile phone, out and about. Well, your phone number needs to be really clearly visible at the top of the page. So that is rule number one, and that would be phone number. And we've talked about unique selling points, so I don't need to go over that again. But there's a few tips here. And we've talked about the call to action as well. A call to action is basically getting people to complete forms, make a phone call, sign up for a newsletter. It might be that you create a landing page just to get signups to a newsletter. And we've previously talked about the benefits of collecting emails, so you can then email market to those people afterwards. Call to actions can be added to buttons, graphics, landing page, etc., etc. Forms, it's a good way of getting people to interact with the business, with your website, but keep the forms simple. Only ask for information that's absolutely needed. And then forms should have a clear call to action, such as get a quote or book now. We've mentioned accreditations, such as professional bodies, etc., etc. And then finally, testimonials is obviously key to having the way to establish trust and encourage people to buy or to get in contact with you. Without testimonials or reviews, you really are missing out on potential inquiries because the trust isn't there. So trust comes from all of these things, but most of all, above and beyond these 6 points here, which you can play this back and stop it and start it, above and beyond, design is critical, absolutely important is in terms of getting conversions. So design is important. But back just to end on the how-to point, and Josh has really got a very good point about this, because you need to think about not just people searching for plumbers leads or first aid training Nottingham. People are searching differently now more than ever. Yeah. People are searching for how to or how do I. And so what you need to do is create pages and blogs and videos all around these, optimizing around these keywords and phrases that people are typing in. So by creating pages and blogs on how to, that gives you a huge opportunity to get found. So Josh's example about how to get the grass greener for whatever.
Yeah, it was how to get rid of moss and how to make my
that was it. So that then is going to lead to potential inquiry in the future so Josh now knows about that business, the brand awareness has been established, and Josh might have a different need in the future for his lawn or whatever it may be, and he'll think of that business because that trust has been built. So it's all about building trust between you and your potential website visitors and potential customers. And don't rush that. So how-to videos and how-to blogs can build the trust, but the inquiry won't come straight away. The inquiry might take 2 or 3 months to actually come in. But by putting the foundation and working now, while a lot of us have the time to do that, that will really help your business in the next 6 to 12 months. So start putting that work in now. Sorry, Josh.
Sorry, yeah, try think out the box. 7 tips on how to choose the perfect wedding venue, how to fix a leaky boiler, whatever it may be. Just really do try think out the box and potentially people might search.
Yeah, honestly, Josh, that's one of the best things you said today is 7 tips. And I've not mentioned this one. You've remembered this one well, because it's a really good marketing ploy, guys. So a really good angle in terms of getting people to click on your blog or your video would be using an uneven number, like 7 tips or 3 ways to get more, whatever it may be. You may have noticed this a lot on social media or just out there on the internet. Lots and lots of people now are using 3 ways or 5 reasons why you should. Yeah. And I'm seeing, on movie blogs and things,
all the time.
23 reasons why Netflix is the place to be. Things like that. So think like Josh has just said there. Think outside the box in terms of 3 ways to improve the quality of your lawn. 16 ways to relax your muscles, or to, I'm just thinking of massage therapists or wellness industry, whatever it may be, home improvements, first aid training, 3 ways you can save a life. I don't know. So think about these things, and when you're doing that, naturally, it's these pages are getting optimized because this is how people are searching for the services, the kind of things that you do. 16 does equal an even number. Yes, I'm not quite with it, Otalia. Sorry about that. 16 isn't even uneven numbers. 15, 3. Give me some more, Josh. Give me some more uneven odd numbers.
Yeah, so that's the thing. You've really hit the nail on the head. That's what a lot of people do kind of click on, and it's what works. 7 tips to get your grass greener. It really does work. Yeah, it's
FAQs. Absolutely right, Andrew. FAQs definitely. An FAQ at the bottom of your landing page or your service pages. Do testimonials have to link to the reviews page? Like Google, or can we copy and paste some good ones? You can copy and paste good ones. Yes, you can.
Sorry to interrupt there. What I'd recommend is I'd speak to your web developer and have the reviews automatically populate on your website, and then it will bring them through from either Google, from either Trustpilot. Yes, you can put your best reviews on there, but when people are kind of looking at kind of testimonials on a page, it's always have testimonials on your page, have some customer feedback. Sometimes it's good to kind of have like a live update. Again, it can be those reviews could quickly become out of date, especially if you leave it a year. Again, speak to your web developer, see if that's possible. That does require a proper developer to do that kind of work.
Moral, I think it's Moral. Sorry, I think I hope I'm pronouncing your name wrong. Right there, bloody hell, I'm getting my words mixed up today. I'm looking at multiple things at once here. So I've got a website. I'm doing a bit of an SEO check on a studycoach.uk.com. What you're asking is, are you at a disadvantage? If you serve people online, obviously you're not a local business, you're online only, national, if not even worldwide. Are you at a disadvantage? No, you're not at a disadvantage. You just got to optimize your website in a different way. You're obviously not putting locations into your website. It is online only. But are you doing blogging? Do you have a blog? Do you and do you update that regularly? Are you doing how-to videos? And are you, like I said earlier, like the trust leader, the leader in your industry, and giving all that authority in terms of resource and help to people? But also, most importantly, are you doing backlink building? Are you building your backlinks to your website? Because if you're a national company or online only, you need to be getting your website and your business out there in articles, blogs that have high authority, good blogs, good websites that link back to your website. You need to be creating content and then sending that content to people to publish with a link back to your website. So do get people to publish your content on their own relevant website to your industry. That's called backlink building, blogger outreach, and things like that. But that is more advanced SEO. We did actually show you how to do that. Which session was that, Josh? Maybe Thursday or Wednesday last week? Wednesday, maybe?
Oh, yeah. I think it was Wednesday.
I think it was Wednesday.
Yeah.
And one more question. When we have area pages, does each area need to be unique? or can I use the same wording but change the town name? Yes, each area needs to be unique, Phil. Phil's asked a really good question there, is when he's got all these different location pages, area pages, can he just change the wording? Can he keep the same wording but change the town name? No. It's called duplicate content. Duplicate content is a big no-no when it comes to Google and search engine optimization. So you've got to create unique content. Remember that kind of golden rule. Make your website interesting for people to read. So if I was to land on your website and I had a vague interest in what you do, or I'm looking for the type of service that you offer, make it so that I'm really compelled by your content and what's on your website. Don't trick the Google search engine, Microsoft search engine. Just keep it really interesting. And that is one of the hardest things to do. And that's why you might want to hire a content writer or a copywriter to do that for you, because it is quite difficult coming up with original content for every single page. And one last question, David. If I update my website every 3 years, should I be changing my H1? No, you don't have to change H1s and H2s all the time. Just make sure you're updating your content via a blog or just adding more content to the website itself. You don't have to keep changing the H1s, but do make sure that you're checking on, as Josh said earlier, the keyword popularity. To use the keyword planner, or ask us if you want. You can get in contact with us. Link at the top. Is it the left, Josh, or the right? Am I pointing in the right way? Links at the top.
Right.
And and you can contact us and we can do a bit of keyword research with you or help you. Okay, a couple of big questions before we go. A couple of big title tags.
Just before you kind of answer that, I think something that we haven't really kind of mentioned, obviously we're giving you the best practice here. We're giving you best practice advice on what we found has worked well for us in the past 20 odd years. Now, obviously you guys know your business better than anyone. You guys know your target audience better than anyone. You will know who are buying from you, know the kind of areas where they buy from, if you're a national company, if you're a local company. What I'm trying to say is split testing and testing is probably the best way to go about this. Yes, we recommend and Google recommends to kind of update your website every 3 years. If you've got an idea of a H1 which you think might work better because of keyword research, there's no harm in doing a bit of testing. Try it for a month. If you find that people stay on the page longer, interact with your website longer, and you get more inquiries, then it obviously works. Again, do a bit of split testing. It's the best thing you can do in any kind of digital marketing. You won't ever know until you test and you find out what actually does work best. Who knows? Maybe having a completely different H1 to what you thought might be best for your business. Would you agree with that?
Yeah, completely agree, Josh. You couldn't have said it any better. Just in the essence of time, just point it. Anne, you asked about title tags, and you've got a response from your designer. If any, Anne's comment there, one of the last comments in the chat there, Anne's web designer has written the following.
Yeah. So I was helping Anne initially with her title tags, I believe.
I just want to say though on that nonsense, Anne, nonsense. Your web designer should be able to change the title tag in about 10 seconds. And if it was a website that we built, Josh could do it now in 5 seconds. It's the easiest thing on a website to change. There's no fancy coding. There's no fancy SEO advanced plugin. It's really simple to go to the page and change the title tag. And I'm saying that back to your web designer. Now, I do worry that web designers and developers say, oh, well, to change that, it's going to cost £200. No, it takes 10 seconds to change the title tag.
Exactly.
And we really dislike that kind of approach. Obviously, we'd love to build a website for you. And in the future, if you ever needed anything changing, we don't charge, we don't do any of that. And it's just very straightforward and honest. But remember these webinars. But yeah, and the title tag is very easy to change. I think we'll have to call it a day there, if that's okay, Josh.
Yes, definitely.
I've got one last thing though, Josh. Is that tomorrow?
Yep.
We've got the legendary social media lead, Sam King, joining us. And he is the guy that goes down to the Facebook guys in London. They're based in they're based. I can't remember where the office is in London, but he's spent a lot of time down at Facebook and been receiving all the best practices from Facebook as we are working as a partner with Facebook. Now, I'm going to be with Sam tomorrow doing the presentation and the interactive session, and we're going to walk you through some things tomorrow around how to create the perfect ad for an ad campaign, setting up your Facebook retargeting and remarketing that links to Facebook Pixel. What does that mean? Well, join us tomorrow at 2 p.m. and you'll find out what all that means. And there's more to be done as well on social media. So that all starts tomorrow, social media, 2 p.m. With our Facebook guy coming in. So we look forward to you then. No holding screen, no presentations, just to say thank you so much for your time today. And if you would like any more help or help with anything in terms of website, Google Ads, social media, content, backlink building, blogging, or anything like that, just go to infoserve.com/COVID. Links at the top of the chat there. And if you just fill in the one-to-one on that, there's a one-to-one thing you can fill, and one of us will speak to you and pick that up. Thank you so much, guys. Have a lovely day.
Thank you.
And if you don't, if you've missed anything from today, we'll send a link out to watch it back. We'll see you tomorrow at 2 p.m. Thank you so much for joining us. Bye-bye.